Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Parkinson Oval, the home of Burnside and Kensington Cricket Club, which is the spiritual home of Don Bradman. On one side of Green Hill Road, on the other side of Green Hill Road, is Old Collegians. This is the first and probably the most local derby we have in the Cooper's Premier Grade. Old Collegians already out, Burnside are making their way out. I will be joined today in commentary by my old friend, who's been very, very busy already today, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome to the commentary position, Rory Sarongan.
Thanks, Dave. Much appreciated. It's a fine day out here at Kensington. I have to say, Old Coles have brought a lot of grunt, and I'm looking forward to a good bash, sir. A little bit
out of breath, but you've just finished coaching your game. How did you get up on that one?
Indeed, yeah. It was a tight game. Old Coles had us well and truly in the first half. We didn't stick to our structure, but we got there in the end.
Just so people know, there will be a moment's silence for Rebecca Braglia, who passed away this week after suffering a neck injury, sustaining a match in Ravenna in Italy last Sunday. She injured the back of her neck during the game and unfortunately passed away.
Yeah, very sad news, Dave.
So the thoughts of everyone at Spacequake Sports and everyone at Rugby Union South Australia and in rugby in general goes out to the family of Rebecca Braglia.
Yeah, condolences to the family. Wonderful woman.
Well, as we get ready to go, one of the biggest things that we've had to deal with this year is the fact that Rugby Union South Australia and Rugby Union in general has gone paperless. So a lot of handwritten notes and handwritten teams. I'll run through them. Burnside first, number 1, Louis Fagan. Number 2, Chris Walton. Not Alistair Walton, as I called him all last week. Number 3, Aaron Tatoka. Ali Langsford and Callum Walton in the second row. Ollie Barker, Jacob Devlin. Blair Marshall in the back row. Jacob Devlin coming in to replace Nigel Lemsam. 9 and 10 will be Joe Ashenford and Chris Hodgson. In the centres, Eric Moroney and Fraser Green. On the wings, Sam Tanaki and Matt Benger, and at fullback, Harrison Rahale. Not much of a change from last week. The big one is Nigel Lemsam, who's away.
Yeah, he's away for 2 weeks, but you don't lose anything with the heavy hitter, Jacob Devlin, the man with the crazy Viking eyes.
So we are underway with the Battle of Green Hill Road. Early kick-off, and Burnside will have first hands on the ball. Over into that Burnside corner, as we christened it last year. So I expect to see Burnside just pick up where they left off, really. Good structured rugby. Ashenford will send it into midfield. There is Alistair Walton. He's lost it, unfortunately. Going back, Rob Smedley will have to carry it over his line, so he'll want to try and get out. But it will be a 5-metre scrum. One of the areas that Burnside were very strong in last week, Rory, were the scrum and the set piece. You expect to see more of the same?
Yes, you would. With Chris Walton there in at hooker, he definitely adds a lot of experience in the front row with Aaron Tatoka. Obviously, Louis Fagan's just a juggernaut. But we will see what Old Coles have. I don't like to write them off, give respect to the opposition, and yeah, we'll see what happens on this 5-metre, Dave.
Interesting week. There's little battles all over the place, and one that we'll talk about, and we'll probably talk about a little bit more when we get a break. John Mokamoko in at number 9 for Old Collegians, formerly of Burnside. So there's a little bit of personal rivalry going on there.
Oh, definitely, Dave.
And he started to get the upper hand, just sniping around the back of that scrum, and it's messy. Not sure where the ball's coming out. It's come back out on Old Collegians' way. A little miss pass out to their left-hand wing. Then they will go again. Out to Jack Curtin. Jack Curtin's got a bit of space. Decides to put his foot down. Given the outside. Taken the outside. Off he goes. He's off to the races. Diving tap tackle doesn't go there. We are less than 2 minutes in. Jack Curtin will dot it down.
Oh, no,
end-to-end stuff.
Yeah, an amazing try there. Old Coles looked to go spread it left very early and outflanked the Burnside back line, and Curtin down the sideline did really well.
Rahale just didn't have the pace to get him. Showed him the outside. Not bad defensive tactics to give them the outside, but he took it and off he went to the races. desperation dive at the end of it from Rahali, just couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, he'd be hard up trying to catch that man Curtin down the sideline. Very fast, as you can see. Good ball positioning in his left hand.
That comes from the mess at the back of the scrum. So Mokomoko already starting to put his stamp down.
Yeah, I spoke to him earlier today, and he was nervous. He was looking for a big game, and he is a big name player. Big game day for him, and he'll look to direct his forward pack around quite well. Unfortunately, he's missed the conversion, Dave.
So he's just pushed it to the right-hand side, so that will be Burnside 0, Old Collegians 5 on the Wojtek scoreboard. Well, that's the start that Old Collegians want. Now, those of you who watch the State of the Union and are aware of the scores from last week, Old Cole's on the end of rather heavy defeat, but speaking to Peter Arnold today, just ran into an informed Troy Doughty last week.
Yeah, he's a devastating player, Troy. If you let him get too much of a foothold in a game and let him command, he will hurt you.
So scrum down Old Collegians ball.
Yeah, slight knock on there at the kickoff. Burnside look a little bit rattled, a bit shell shocked. But Old Coles have come here to play. We've got a slow scrum. Here we go. John Mokomoko about to feed. It's going to be interesting. He's versing Joe Ashenford. Like you said, Dave, a lot of little one-on-one battles, individual battles. This will be one of them all day. Moko will look to get the upper hand. See what young Joe Ashenford is made of, considering the calibre of John.
One of the beauties of this year, though, excuse me for a second while my voice just dies, one of the beauties of this year and it being online, I can already tell you that Souths have gone 3-0 up early at Onkaparinga.
Wow, wow.
Or at Souths. But
Well
another
done.
scrum.
Well done to Souths. They look to be a genuine threat this year.
Interesting, if they start 2-0, that's big.
Yep. It'll help them out, especially with that win last week on the scoreboard, on the ladder for the end of the season. I think they'll make a big mark this year.
Really interesting, and obviously we talked about it. We've talked about it before. Old Coles, tough first 3 rounds of the season. They'll really want to put a step down, and as things have started, they've started on the front foot. I haven't managed to get through them, so I'll try again for the forward pack. We'll do the forward pack for Old Coles. Luke Clifton, David Allo Emily and Tim Dawes in the front row. Jack Campion, His Royal Highness, and Alex Eames in the second row with Liam McDonough. Fraser Morrison and Chris Paseka will make up the back row. We'll get to the backs shortly.
Yeah, I watched their new hooker, David Allo Emily. He seems to be a right old goer.
Well, he's got a brother who plays for Samoa. Played for Elizabeth last year, was part of their premiership winning side. Smedley will send it out, and that just misses the hands, and we'll go into touch. So Burnside will have a line out, and there's always a wry giggle every time we talk about this from now on. I think Burnside's driving more from the line out is a weapon.
Yes, if you're speaking about the controversy against Brighton.
There's no controversy, we put it to bed.
Yeah, we put it to bed. This is looking ominous for Old Collegians here. This is not a good position they want to be. Burnside. Old Collegians have got it. They've swung it out wide to the right.
Fleetwood Piper will beat the first one, then hand off the second one, and then give it to Curtin. Curtin will go inside, and he had Chris Bartlett inside him.
Oh, they look amazing out there on the flanks there. Doing really well, Old Collegians.
Now, Blair Marshall not wearing a number, but he is a man who doesn't need a number. We know who he is.
He sticks out quite well, easy to...
Calls for the penalty from Burnside corner. Referee obliges. Hand against Mokomoko. I think that's going to be an ongoing thing all day. He will hear it from the Burnside faithful.
Yeah, He's going to find it hard playing over on that side. The Burnside faithful will tend to heckle him, but I think it'll all be above board and nice and clean and funny.
It's always a hard place to come to, Burnside.
Yeah, well, the ground's in good condition. Obviously, you got the Bradman pitch in the centre that isn't as bad as what we thought it would be.
I had a wander around on it actually. Just before your game, I think I just went and had a wander around on it, and it's okay. It's as per usual. It's very, very hard, but it's got a little bit of mud on the top, but it's holding well. It's had a couple of games on it today.
Yeah, you're right. It has held up well. A good little inside line by Eric Moroney there, the inside centre for Burnside. Burnside looking to capitalise at the moment.
So one of the ones we want to keep an eye on is that man there, Callum Walton. There's big money on him in the Calcutta. So we'll talk a little bit more about the Calcutta when we get a break. And this could be perfect timing. The Calcutta, people bid on the players. All of that money goes into a pot. Half goes back to the rugby club, half goes to the winner. $700 was put on Callum Walton to score the first try. Yeah,
he was the highest bidder, the player with the highest bid. It'll be interesting, especially because he's playing in the second row and he's usually the main jumper they look to at the line-out, as Harrison Rahaley looks to link up with his outside backs.
Pass just goes to ground. Matt Benja will pick it up, take on Bartlett. Bartlett wins that mini battle, and again they manage to just slow that ruck down, mess it up a little bit, but off they will go again. Marshall will send it on to Fagan, wearing some stitches after last week's game. Out to Hodgson. Hodgson with a little show and go, has a little bit of room. Brought down in midfield by McDonough, I think that is. Not wearing the number I was given, but they've gone quickly. Then they will look inside to Callum Walton. $700 under the posts. 5 points.
Well, there we have it. Big Sea Dog in for the first try of the game. As you're right, he's just won the Calcutta, or all his bidders have. And I can see him up there on the Burnside balcony having a little chuckle as we speak.
So we will wait for that. We took the opposite of the commentator's curse. What's the opposite of the commentator's curse?
I'm not sure.
We've given it to him.
You did well there.
I think I'm owed a little bit of that money.
I think they'll take.
I've talked him in.
Well, I'll give you something for that, mate. You did really well. There was a little penalty, and Joe Ashenford actually took advantage, and Old Coles were a bit lazy on getting back in the defensive line. Seemed to open them up, and yeah, they've done well. And kick to come, Harrison Rahaley. He's got quite a super boot on him, Dave. What do you think?
He kicked quite well last week. Was hot and cold with his restarts, but place kicking seemed okay. That one goes through, no issues. So Burnside will strike back. They will go 7 points to 5 up on the Wojtek scoreboard. Now, we'll just run through the backs for all Collegians. Number 9, as we've spoken about already, John Makamoko. Number 10, Rob Smedley. In the centres, Andrew Burgess and Chris Bartlett. Timothy Atkins and Kyle Fleetwood-Piper on the wings. Jack Curtin, who's already got his name called for the try, he will be back at fullback. Our referee today is David Gunning. He will be assisted by Peter Snoop Jackson and Thomas Greenshields. Thomas Greenshields, of course, in the Year 12 Rugby AU referee scholarship. There'll be an advantage there for the knock-on. None coming, so scrum time. Burnside with the scrum. Back with that big front row that they started with, Louis Fagan, Chris Walton and Aaron Tatoka.
Oh, it's slowly becoming a veteran front row, Dave. Louis Fagan, Aaron Tatoka are great bookends, obviously with Chris Walton's knowledge in that hooker. Very powerful force up there.
Onka Paringa have tied it up at Southern Suburbs, 3 points apiece. So Ashenford will find Hodgson. Hodgson gives it inside to Moroney. Moroney will never take a backward step, runs hard and direct. Again, that's very, very slow. I think that's Campion wearing the blue headgear that's nicked it, and he has. So that's a turnover ball for all Collegians. Comes back, Mokamoko found Smedley. Smedley will come back to the big fellas. Gets his support eventually.
He's just stepped 3 players there, Smedley. He's done well.
Picked up by Paseka, who'll send it inboard to Andrew Burgess. Burgess will gain a couple. Mokomoko will send it out to Smedley. Smedley will cut out more than one, all the way out to Timothy Atkins. Atkins hands it back inside to Dawes. Dawes rolls around a couple. Walton does his best to keep hold of him. Mokomoko again into midfield to McDonough. McDonough with a couple of Burnside players around him. Blair Marshall slow to come away. Referee's happy with it though.
Yeah, I think he did us a favour by throwing a cutout pass there. Just
again to Atkins. Some interesting phase play being put together by old Collegians. He'll miss McDonough out. Bartlett trying to run around the outside. Didn't quite get there. Hodgson did enough. Good counter ruck comes from Burnside. Mokomoko just eaten by Fraser Green. More quick play. Paseka will take it on a couple. Mokomoko's there again. Has time to stand and look.
They're setting up for something here, Old Coles.
We'll find Morrison, who's a bit alone, but he manages to keep his feet till support gets there. Mokomoko to Smedley. Smedley with a short ball to Bartlett. Bartlett with a bit of space. Manages. Devlin just does enough. I think that's Devlin just did enough. Bartlett dragged down. Smedley will come into midfield. Fired all the way across to Morrison. Morrison, again, just flirting with being isolated. Curtin.
Sorry, big hit by Jacob Devlin. That was Fraser Green on the outside there that just got hold of the Old Collegians centre. They're looking good, Old Collegians. They've come to play.
So they'll come back for a penalty. I wonder whether we're getting just messed up with the same. Yeah, shirt numbers are never fun.
Yeah, there's been a bit of an issue with the shirts. We've lost a few for this week. Hopefully we'll all be back for next week.
Lost a few. Some souvenirs, you think?
Yep. Oh, great run there by the Collegians, number 2.
Again, it will come out. Atkins is getting through some work. He keeps getting man and ball. Another slow ruck. Smedley will pick it up. Looks left, nothing there, so goes back to His Royal Highness Jack Campion. Oh, very close. Sam Tanaki was nearly there, and you think if that had gone to hand, it would have been all she wrote.
Yeah, you'd think so. Unfortunately, looks like they're being played the advantage.
Still going. Mokomoko will get there again. Give it into Clifton. Clifton supported by the huge David Allo-Emily. Nice little pickup from Alex Eames. Eames will shake a couple off, then send it on. Still going. Mokomoko will fire it out to Smedley. Smedley will miss out to Atkins. And it's gone forward. Atkins is upset by that.
Yeah, he didn't like the call.
So we have also got scores coming through from Woodville. Woodville 7, Brighton 7. So after last week in the big scores, looks like we're going to be tight. 7-5 here at Parkinson. 6-3 to Souths at South. 7-7 Woodville Brighton.
Oh, they've done well, Woodville. Bluey and his boys down there got a good club going, and look forward to them having a couple of hit-outs this year.
Well, that's Callum Walton just trotting off, and the way he's doing it, you would suggest that he's just going to get some blood cleaned up, I would imagine.
Yeah, the big man puts his head in some dark places, Dave.
In his personal life as well as rugby.
He's a true warhorse, mate. He just he leads from the front. You know?
Of course, Callum's dad is Alistair Walton, which is obviously the confusion that I had with young Chris.
Yeah, yes.
It was the first thing that anybody in Burnside colours said to me today.
All is forgiven.
Hardly set foot in the clubhouse and it was on.
It'd be interesting to see what exit play Burnside have. They take it.
So Marshall with a big show and go. Manages to work his way upfield a little bit. Support comes from Devlin, but it has been turned over. It's still bouncing around there. Finally sorted out by Ali Langsford. Totoka will pick and drive, just give them a little bit more. Then they'll go back into the pocket. Hodgson nudges it forward, kicks it towards Jack Curtin. Curtin with a little stop and go. Dealt with by Benja and gone forward. Big tackle by Benja. Now the hands are on. Hodgson's out there, just stood up slightly, but he reverses the field, heads towards the post. Over he will go.
Oh, well, what do you think of that, Dave?
Mr. Curtin just a little bit too clever for his own good.
Yeah.
Benja with the tackle.
Yep.
Reminds me of a try we saw here last year with Meredith, who's also injured today. And I thought, to be honest, that the pass hadn't done Hodgson a great amount of favours, but he stepped and everyone from in an old Collegian shirt kept going.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate for Mr. Curtin there. He looked to take Benja on the inside. Looks like he was setting him up for an inside step and then decided against it.
He didn't know he was there. He just didn't know he was there. Devlin with the first pass.
Yeah, great hands, great support, guys. Great support.
And Hodgson's happy about it. Under the post, making the kick nice and easy for Harrison Rahali. Am I saying his name right?
Harrison Rahali.
Rahali.
With your accent, it's probably correct.
Do what I can.
We love you, Dave. We love you.
Okay, with that kick, that is Burnside 14. Old Collegians 5 on the Wojtek scoreboard. This is one that I'm not going to be able to take my eyes away either from. Southern Suburbs 11, Onkaparinga 3.
Oh. Obviously,
it's chalk and cheese.
Yep, they've seen something. They've been must have adjusted their game plan for for Onkaparinga, because to keep them down to such little points, they've done really well, South.
So Mokomoko will restart us. Good high restart. Totoka battling the sun. Good hands. Plucked it out the air like a baby being thrown out of a skyscraper.
He's done really well, the big man.
Blair Marshall is there. He will take it. Sends it on to Devlin. Met hard by Morrison.
Yeah, stiff defence there.
Hodgson thought about the kick, then will keep it. Runs straight at Smedley. Hand it off somewhat to Andrew Burgess, who finished the job.
Yeah, heavy hitter, Andrew Burgess. He's done well.
Devlin, nice offload.
To Louis Fagan.
Fagan getting over Donald Bradman patch. Now they can start to move. Quick restart. Just goes backwards from Rahali. Oh, it's an interesting call. I thought it went backwards, but referee is always right.
Always right there, Dave.
I can have an opinion, but my opinion is patently wrong.
Mate, look, like you said, the ref's always right, and we just play with the referees. They've got a hard job, so we don't begrudge them any inaccuracies. Here we go as they set up for the scrum. About 42 metres out from the Burnside line. We look to attack out wide by the look of things, maybe a crash ball.
So Mokomoko with the feed. Burnside again showing their dominance, but they managed to clear it. Smedley. Again, big cutout pass to Curtin. Curtin will chip. All about the bounce, and it didn't come for him. Excellent covering play. That Burnside player, I'm not sure who it is. Oh, it's Maroney. Maroney's done very well. Rahali puts it on the boot. They're ready for them back here. So, we're still going. So another knock on. Scrum to Burnside.
Yeah, interesting development here.
Another interesting score. Woodville 14, Brighton 7.
Wow.
This is...
That's a. If you had have asked anyone that I know of, they wouldn't have picked that as the scoreboard 20 minutes into the game.
Long, long way to go, though.
Obviously, we don't know about injuries. Ashenford off the scrum.
Hodgson again will just push Old Collegians back. Took somewhat of an Old Collegians bounce, and they can counter-attack with Curtin. Curtin again just ran out of options a little bit.
So, Piper
I was going to say it looked like a turnover, but not legal.
That Kyle Fleetwood Piper is a handy asset there, Dave, for Old Collegians.
He's someone who's come through the youth, set up at Old Collegians. Mokomoko will push them further down.
He's definitely got fast feet into contact. Doesn't shy away.
It's looking like a dangerous back division for Old Collegians. They just can't seem to get them going at the moment.
Yeah, they do have class in their back. They always have, let's be honest. So, look, they're still in the fight here. They're putting up a great game. Great off the top ball.
Smedley will send it into the middle to Paseka. Mokomoko again can go. He'll find Smedley. Smedley to Bartlett on the inside. Bartlett will meet the first one, shake out the first one, but can't get away from the second one.
No, he's done well. Blair Canvas Marshall did well to cover up there.
Campion just knocked it backwards. Nearly another interceptor, Benja. Benja will take on Curtin, I think that was. No, that was Timothy Atkins. Tim Atkins out here on the left-hand wing.
He looks handy too, Timothy Atkins. Fleet of foot.
I think one of the things that's possibly not coming out on the footage is just how difficult that sun is. I've been fortunate enough to have been lent a hat and you have to fight through it.
Yeah, well, if Old Coles you could utilise that and kick it down to the left of your screen in the bottom corner, it's definitely put the high ball up. It's going to make it difficult for anyone out the back there, that being Benja or Harrison Rahaley.
You would expect it to be more difficult in the second half as that sun gets lower as well.
Yeah, we seem to have a bit of trouble in the scrums at the moment. A little bit of talk.
Southern Suburbs versus Onkaparinga looks like it's a fun one, 11-8. We'll have another look at them at half-time, I think.
That sounds like a right old battle there, Dave. Oh, big scrum.
Oh, Burnside very threatening with an overturn, and they get the penalty. Again, the set piece from Burnside. Jack Campion slow to get up. Nothing serious, as tough as they come, Jack Campion.
Oh, he's definitely a stalwart of their club, isn't he, Campion? Hard man.
Not sure whether he is their captain. I would assume he is their game day captain.
Once again, they haven't found touch, the Burnside kickers. He's roosted that one.
So Walton has returned to the fray with a little bit more strapping, so you would suggest he's got the old AFL strapping job. Another kick, Smedley underneath it, has to deal with it with his feet, then will beat the first one. Can't beat Tanaki. Tanaki does well. Good counter ruck from Burnside though. Ball might be available, is available. Picked up by Moroney.
He's everywhere, Eric Moroney.
Just see in the background there as well, the youngsters from Burnside will be having a run around at half time. Stay tuned for that. There is Burnside corner. It's President's Day today as well. Another missed touch. It's catching.
Yeah. Here we go, a bit of counter attack.
Fraser Green met strongly. Ashenford could restart. Rahali in first receiver position. Just ships it quickly to Hodgson and gave him Bartlett as well at the same time. Bartlett very slow to move out of there. Referee gives him time though. Fagan will send it into midfield.
The referee's got his arm out, Dave.
So there is an advantage. Walton puts it on that left boot. He's twice in 2 weeks. He's dropped it on the old left hoof.
He's done well. It looks like Ollie Barker's got up a little bit slow. He's a real thinking flanker, Ollie Barker. Huge work rate. And he looks to be okay though, the big number 6.
Hopefully the play comes over this side and we can get a shot of Callum Walton in his strapping. Looks like the Phantom of the Opera from all the way over here.
Yeah, he looks a bit grim, doesn't he? It won't stop the big man though. He's got a heart and a set of lungs on him like the size of Far Lap. So, yes, though it does look gruesome, doesn't it?
We are approaching the half hour in this one.
Been really impressed with Old Collegians' backline defence, Dave.
Moroney will beat the first one, can't beat the second one. Ashenford is there again. He'll go back to Walton. Walton will ship to Tatoka. Tatoka just adds a couple. Ashenford infield to Devlin. Devlin will run over the first one. Ankle tap gets him though. And a little knock on because of that.
Great run by Jacob Devlin. He's just run over the top like a steam train. Young man's getting up. He's on his haunches.
Well, he has to put a marker down, doesn't he? Because this is his week to show Wayne Vincent that he can play in that number 7 role. It's been vacated by Nigel Lamsam for the week.
Yeah, well, they're two totally different players. Nigel's a bit of, like you said, like you know, he's devastating around the general phase, around the rucks. Jacob Devlin's a very traditional player, plays hard, defends hard.
Problems again for the Old Collegians scrum. Paseka has to pick it up. Mokomoko will send that out to Smedley. Smedley this time uses Bartlett as a decoy. Met by 2 Burnside players, bouncing around out there. Picked up eventually by Atkins. Atkins again will work into midfield. Ball is available. Mokomoko sends it into midfield. Onto really the only part of Don Bredman patch that's cutting up at all. Smedley ships it quickly to Fleetwood Piper. Fleetwood Piper steps on the gas, beats a couple, looked for the inside ball, just couldn't quite get there. McDonough was there, will send it on to Mokomoko. He'll knock it on, that'll be a popular knock on. Now this time for a counter-attack. Benja fires it forward, caught one a little bit high after the kick you would think. Fraser Green is the only Burnside player. Early season fitness showing as everyone kind of ambled towards that. Little bit pedestrian. Smedley gets caught by Chris Walton. Tries to hold him up. Finally he can get down and create that ruck. And Hull Coles can come away. Met again. Devlin is there. Lost his feet. Can't do anything with it. Burgess will pick up. Just make a couple. Mokomoko will send it out to nobody in particular. Just all a bit scrappy at the moment. Bartlett will send it out to Curtin. Curtin's already shown the pace that he has. He is met and dumped by Callum Walton. Still scrappy. Mokomoko will get hands on. Little knock on at the back.
Oh, that's
Hodgson giving him a high five.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for
to the
Coles,
cheek.
wasn't it, Dave? I think they were building for something. There's a little bit of...
Just a little bit of discussion between Mokomoko and Hodgson.
You'd have to expect a little bit happening, Dave, I dare say.
I think that Mokomoko will probably thrive on this.
Exactly. He was looking forward, he was expecting it, and he will look to upset and niggle a couple of players that he thinks he can get under their skin.
Just a little conversation between Peter Jackson and Dave Gunning. Just going to have a chat with Blair Marshall. We don't have the referee mic'd up this week. But I think from the motions that Peter Jackson was doing, there was a little kick out from Hodgson, which is silly.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but if there was, it's a shame. We'll see what eventuates and the consequences to that.
I think the knock-on is going to be reversed. You would think. I'm not sure there'll be any more action.
a long conversation there between...
Ends with smiles. Yeah, so it is that kick, which is silly. Because Burnside were in the right. Mokomoko was delaying play, wouldn't give the ball back.
Well, I'll get the line out.
So that's another little mini win for Mokomoko. And I think he's going to try and get under the skin of these Burnside players.
Well, he's good at it. He knows what he's doing. We're well aware. He used to play for Burnside for many, many years, and he did exactly the same to other teams that he's doing to us today. But we wish him well and many more games.
Scrappy. Mokomoko has to deal with Ashenford at the same time, but he does manage to ship it on. Paseka will relieve some of the pressure. Mokomoko again will find Smedley. Smedley will cut it out to Curtin. Curtin will then send it to Atkins. Atkins will take on Green. Atkins will beat Green. He's got Curtin inside. Perfect time pass. Another desperate tackle. And Curtin will go over. Yes, Curtin will go over for his second try of the game.
He's done well, Curtin. Good outside, once again, they've looked to outflank the Burnside back line. He's done really well. Curtin, he's a bit of a try-scoring machine today.
Outside pace on both of the tries for Old Collegians has hurt Burnside. Fraser Green will be disappointed that he didn't get around. Lovely timed inside pass. I don't know who the chasing tackler was, but they weren't quick enough to get to Curtin.
No, he's definitely got some wheels, the young man. But there we go, 14-10, and kick to come.
Very interesting picture in the background. Peter Arnold and Alex Rockaborough were in the background of that, and no reaction whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like poker faces. Well, Mokomoko's come a fair way back. If he puts that ball down, he's given himself some range. Oh, he's walking back now. I thought he was going to bring it all the way back to the 40.
He does have a very smooth kicking technique. So for you young people out there that want to learn how to place kick or goal kick, just keep an eye on this young man. He does quite all right on the goal kicking department.
Keeps the headgear on, which is interesting. Normally you'll see the kicker take it off. Nice strike, and just pulled it a little bit to the left. Commentator's curse. That's your fault, Rory.
Yeah, sorry, my apologies, my apologies. A bit off today with his goal kicking, young John. So, well done, Old Coles. 14-10.
The wind is certainly, it's gusty, which is always an issue for a kicker.
Yep. Yeah, it's pushing across the park towards the western side.
Curtin underneath it, Campion underneath it.
Yeah, he's done well, nice take. They've recycled the ball quite well.
Mokomoko to Smedley. Said that a lot today, and I think we're going to keep saying it. Aloe Emily will add on a couple, but it's come out, and Totoka gets the rumble away. Look for the inside pass, and that is picked off by an Old Collegian. Comes out the back a little bit scrappy. Mokomoko will just kick it anywhere will do, but unfortunately not that anywhere.
No, unfortunately he's kicked it out on the full, outside his own 22. Unfortunate for Aaron Totoka, he's had a steal and looked to find his support with a nice pass, but one of the Old Collegians has stepped up to the plate and stolen the rabbit out of the bag.
Peter Jackson with the flag there as the assistant referee. I don't think it'll be too long before we see him grace the A-grade game on your screens.
There we go, a lovely line-out jump by Callum Walton. Burnside forward packer got their set piece down pat.
Hodgson will send it inside.
And big Sammy Tanaki by the look of that.
It was Sam Tanaki.
Yeah, this Chris Paseka, he's quite a ball runner out in midfield there, Dave. He's sort of like the safety relief valve for the Old Collegians. It's a similar style to what they used to use with Big Gary Manning. Would that be safe to say?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, there's been a couple of times where I've had to double take and see that number 8, and he does play in the same kind of style as Gary Mann. Yeah, kind of just moved from one to the other.
Yeah, well, he's
just checking Callum Walton's face mask. Make sure that there's no blood. That's not Callum Walton, that's Eric Moroney.
He's a young juggernaut, that man, Eric Moroney. Loves
Nuggety
the
would be a description of Eric Moroney.
He's just a ball of muscle.
So is that Callum? Yeah, Callum's going to have to go and get some more running repairs. Walton will hit Ollie Barker. Old Cole's managed to sack it straight away, but the arm is out for a penalty. Ashenford to Hodgson. Hodgson shows it to Moroney, then gives it to Tanaki. Runs through the first one. That's the try line there. Ashenford, short, misses Walton. Step, go, dive over from Hodgson. Burnside will get another try. Hodgson will get his second of the day. Too easy.
Well done. Yes, well done to the Burnside boys. Quite effective structure there. Semi Tanaki gets his nose over the advantage line, cuts out Chris Walton, and Hodgson with his right foot step.
You talk about running off the ball, you said any young kids watching, you talk about running off the ball. You look at Chris Walton, not Alistair Walton, you look at Chris Walton's line, that holds and freezes the defence, gives Hodgson the space to run around behind.
Yeah, exactly, Dave, exactly. Chris Walton's line, like you said, fixed the defenders, which gave Chris Hodgson a little bit more freedom with direction, which way he wanted to go, chose the big right foot step, and now we have Harrison Rahaley lining up for another conversion. He's got a bit of a radar, and he's got a huge distance in his kick, this young man.
Flags go up again, and he remains at 100%. 21-10 on the Wojtek scoreboard. We are getting close to half-time. So just before we go into half-time, just have another quick look around the grounds. Brighton have just overturned that deficit, 26-14 at the moment.
Here we go. John Mokomoko with the kick-off. Looks like it's coming down to Blair Canvas Marshall.
So he's done well. He tried to step out the first one. Smedley tries to deal with him. Allo Emily was there but couldn't deal with it. They'll go back into the pocket and Hodgson will fire it away. Now that's an old Collegians change. Fleetwood Piper sends it in to Atkins. Looks like Jack Curtin is off.
He must have sustained an injury there, Dave.
Onkaparinga have also overturned the deficit. They're winning 22-11, so order is restored. Penalty for side entry.
Yeah, Jack Curtin's a big loss for the old Collegians first grade side.
To see him walking very, very slowly to the old Collegians bench.
And they've kicked out.
And Tanaki will stop it going out.
He won't pass
Tanaki will just run straight at Fleetwood Piper. There's two people who certainly wouldn't want to run into either of them in a dark alley. Old Collegians have turned it over. Mokomoko sends it to Smedley. Smedley with a short ball to your man, Paseka. Paseka looked for his support on the outside. It didn't come. Tidied up by Burgess. Gone backwards. Mokomoko does well to Smedley. Smedley out to Bartlett. Bartlett one-on-one. Does well. Benja does well. Sends him back into Benja. Then Old Coles will look to go again. Smedley. Another cutout pass into midfield, tidied up by Campion. Campion will ship it on again to Paseka. Paseka will find some more room. Old Coles slow it down, give us all a chance to breathe, and Mokomoko will work his way over there.
Blair Canvas Marshall having trouble getting up.
Fleetwood Piper into midfield. Mokomoko will look to the right-hand side. Campion, loopy pass over to that right-hand side, giving Burnside a chance to counter that somewhat. Tim Dawes will pick and go down the right-hand side.
Great run.
Makes good yardage against Hodgson. Another pick and drive by Allo Emily. Again, makes a couple of yards. Mokomoko, yeah, penalty for entry. Can see it there, and it's that isolation just causes people to do things they probably don't want to do.
That was unfortunate because they're building up to something good there, old Collegians. They're looking to recycle that ball and utilise it, but unfortunately the side entry call against them, and looks like we're going into half time.
So that will be half time. So old Collegians have made a change. I'm not sure who it was. So it's half time here at Burnside. Burnside leading this one 21 points to 10, but you wouldn't suggest that it's comfortable.
No, definitely
right now.
Definitely not comfortable at all. And if you were to think they were, then that's not respecting the opposition.
You would expect to see old Collegians try and just target that left-hand side. Burnside's right. It's shown a couple of cracks so far. But we will step away and take a short break. Please don't go anywhere. We'll have some under-8s running around for you in a minute. We'll just take a step away. Ladies and gentlemen, from Parkinson Oval, Burnside 21, Old Collegians 10 on the Voitex scoreboard. On this broadcast, brought to you by Quake Sports. So half-time at Parkinson Oval, Burnside leading this one 21 points to 10. Tries in the first half to Callum Walton, getting the Calcutta, $700, that's a big one. 2 tries to Chris Hodgson, and Harrison Rahaley has kicked all 3. Old Collegians, 2 tries to Jack Curtin, both down the left-hand side for them, showing a little bit of a weakness for Burnside.
Yeah, they've definitely showed us up out in the flanks there, but with Jacob Devlin sort of realising this, he seems to have covered up quite well.
Yes, again, set piece for Burnside looking very, very good. Scrum looks strong, has given Old Collegians some issues every now and again. Line out looks incredibly strong as well. But there has been, and there will be, issues for them if they can't sort out that left-hand flank for them.
Yep, there always will be with the talent in the Old Collegians back line. We'll see what they have to offer now that Jack Curtin's off, but they'll still be dangerous, Dave.
And you see on your screens now the baby battle of Green Hill Road with young Burnside number 10 just taking them all on. That's the try line there you can see as they try and get on the outside. This is the future of rugby union in South Australia. This is what we want to see. The kids, these are the future A-graders. Yes
indeed, mate. Without these kids, and I think all clubs need to concentrate on their juniors. As you can see, Old Coles and
big
Burnside.
Step from the number 7 as he spots it down. Are they playing full pitch?
I'm not quite sure.
I think they're playing on the full pitch. That's big ask for these little ones, and massive for them as well. Tom Greenshields is out there refereeing in the middle, so future referees from rugby union in South Australia also taking these kids, and they look like they're enjoying themselves. Beautiful day for it. The sun, I think, in the second half will start to cause some issues for the Old Collegians back 3, but they'll be able to deal with it as that sun drops further and further down. But the kids running around having fun. We'll step away for a little bit of a drink and a little bit of a break. Please don't go anywhere. Go put the kettle on, have yourself a cup of tea, sit back in your comfy chair, join us for the second half of the Battle of Greenhill Road. and welcome back to Parkinson Oval. All Collegians will get us started in the second half. Just half-time scores. Brighton 38, Woodville 14. I just have to go through and get the Onkaparinga one. But that one's gone back to where we thought it would be. The Onkaparinga 24-11, so that one's kind of redressed the balance as well. Here, 21-10, but a lot closer than the scoreboard would lead you to believe.
Yeah, they're Old Collegians definitely putting up a fight as they kick off here to canvas Marshall. The assassin.
Well, that's what we've not seen. We didn't see that from Blair Marshall last week, those long, rangy runs. Started to get a couple going. Hodgson will find Maroney. Maroney will just reverse, go back to the safety of the forwards. A little bit isolated, though. Turnover is coming. Either way, it's going to be an Old Collegians ball. Mokomoko, Smedley. Smedley misses out one, finds Bartlett. Bartlett steps out the tackle of Walton, beats the second one, manages to keep going, shakes off the third one. Fourth and fifth finally managed to deal with him.
It's a great run.
Are they going to go back all the way for that penalty? It's that isolation again, Rory.
Yeah, they've done well, Old Collegians. Especially after the assassin's run, he's done well.
So that sun has come out again. You can see the referee shielding his eyes.
They look very dangerous out on the flanks, as we've noted earlier, but Old Collegians look to them to utilise it a bit more, especially with that electric man, Kyle.
Kyle Fleetwood Piper, who's out in front of us now, taking on Sam Tanaki. That was a lovely little, just a little microcosm of a battle over there on that far side.
Well, by all accounts, he's a young man, so he's got a lot to look forward to.
Free kick. Campion looks to go quickly, does go quickly to Smedley. Smedley to Burgess. Burgess will take them on in midfield. Dealt with by Devlin. Mokomoko will sit at the back and find Smedlin. Smedley had to run around, was under pressure from Hodgson, finds Bartlett. Bartlett shakes out the first one, doesn't get away from the second one in Blair Marshall. Mokomoko again, has to go digging for it. Sends it into the middle to Paseka. Paseka also manages to offload it. Tim Dawes.
He's had a strong game, Paseka.
Campion on his own, 3 Burnside shirts there. Support will get there eventually, but it won't be as quick as they want it. Mokomoko sends it out. Paseka gets hands on the ball and gets his name called again. Mokomoko straight back, nobody in particular.
Joe Ashenford, he's on it.
Sandy Taylor making his way into the fray. Had a very quick chat with him. He feels that he didn't really want to do much this season, but I think he was lying. Tanaki steps inside again, makes a couple miss, and will offload to Rahaley. Rahaley's got to put his foot down. Has he got the pace to beat Fleetwood Piper? Yes, he does. And with the dive in front of the doggo,
that'll do.
Harrison Rahaley will score and just add on a 5 points extra.
That'll do his confidence a world of good, the young man. Great try, great setup. Fraser Green to Sammy Tanaki on the inside. And found his support there, Harrison Rahaley.
Just a little slip pass from Tanaki out to Rahaley. Then it was a foot race. Fleetwood Piper nearly got there, not there enough. And how happy was he? You can tell how happy he is because he gets the dive in.
It's got to be noted, Louis Fagan was inside in support. Great support by the big prop.
Love to see the front rowers working hard. I bet he was kind of hoping that Fleetwood Piper would have got a tackle, so we could have just had the little offload.
Well.
So Rahaley with his 100% record, still intact at the moment.
It'll help him, he's not kicking into the sun at this point of time. But like I said earlier, he has a huge boot on him. Was kicking goals up here at training, 52, 53 metres out and sliding on Dave.
That one's driven, it's on the way, and the flags stay down.
My apologies.
You're going to have to stop. 26 points to 10 on the Wojtek. Rory Sarongan, the kicker killer.
I feel terrible. Look, what Old Coles have brought to the table is a willing set of forwards, but their real strength lies out wide, as we've said earlier. But once they turn over the ball, they seem a little bit vulnerable around the middle of the ruck there.
So Mokomoko not kicking off. I'm just going to try and keep an eye out and see whether he's still out there. Or has he had to go? Well, we'll see at this scrum. I can't see. I can only count one headgear, and that's Paseka. Kyle Fleetwood Piper in front of us, but is that Mokomoko gone?
Can't see him just at the moment.
Well, Rob Smedley's gone into 9. Just looking at, trying to look over to that All Collegians bench to see whether I can see Mokomoko, whether it's an injury or tactical. I'd be surprised if it was tactical, to be perfectly frank.
Yeah, interesting.
Because he's played well.
Yeah.
Ashenford to Hodgson. Hodgson tries to find the gap, takes a bounce in front. Well fielded. Then flipped inside to Burgess. Burgess will find Fleetwood Piper. Fleetwood Piper will just straighten, met by a double blue wall.
Yeah, Louis Fagan, Eric Moroney once again.
So Smedley.
You don't want to run into.
Time at the back, but picked. Taken away by Aloe Emily.
He's had a good game, David.
Slow, very scrappy. Smedley at the back. Sends it out to the left. Alex Eames just couldn't shake the first one. Luke Clifton, I haven't called his name very much. His Royal Highness Jack Campion, wrapped up. Ball will come back though. Smedley at the back. Tim Dawes has been at first receiver for a while. Then he'll send it on to Burgess. Burgess will step through the first one. Support is there. Smedley is there quicker. Better, quick ball from Old Collegians. Another little step through. Penalty because he's gone straight off his feet. Or not rolling away. I still can't.
I can't see him out there, Dave.
He's not out there.
So there's obviously been
struggling to see him over on the far side as well. I'm just trying to keep an eye on it. As Old Coles will take the penalty and push it down that right-hand line.
It'll be interesting to see what Old Coles do with this line-out.
There is an Old Coles player on his haunches being tended to, and I can't quite see who it is. But if it is Mokomoko, that's a big loss for them.
Yeah, it is. It is. He definitely moves the forward pack around quite well. Very vocal behind his forwards.
Shortened line-up for Old Coles. They'll come back to the middle, but overthrown by Aloe Emily. Got away with it as Clifton will clean it up. Smedley. Loopy pass into midfield. Gets there eventually. Oof. Burgess will straighten and gets smashed by Moroney. Smedley will come out to the right-hand side to Dawes. He's really enjoying that first receiver role at the moment. Yeah, he'll make a couple. Smedley is there again. Again, they can go quicker. Out to this right-hand side. Inside ball. Callum Walton very, very slow to move again. Wily customer, Callum Walton. Into midfield. To Liam, it's not Liam McDonough. I don't know who's wearing the number 6 for Old Collegians. Fleetwood Piper takes on Fraser Green. Green gets him eventually, doesn't hold him. Did well to stay out of that one. Paseka, little offload to Eames.
Yeah, Ollie Barker did well to take down Big Paseka.
Smedley back into that first 5. We'll find Campion. Campion takes on Walton. Walton holds him up. Again, it's slow. And they will come out to this right-hand side. Man and ball for Burgess. Said that a few times today.
Yep.
Fleetwood Piper. No thoughts of stepping. Tanaki just runs straight at him. Little swap and change. Burgess into midfield. Into Atkins. Atkins met by Walton. Walton, who doesn't like to let people go to ground on his watch.
No, Chris Walton and big Callum Walton were there to meet him.
Yeah, and he held him on his feet long enough for it to be a maul, and it will be a Burnside scrum.
And once again, it's no surprise, big Jacob Devlin getting off the ground, last man in. He's had a great game today. Old Coles get set quite early, do quite good work off the ball, just seem to be hampered by the Burnside defence, Dave. The Burnside are coming up quite quick and quite well organised.
So here is another Burnside change. There is Callum Walton with his good old AFL tape job.
Yep, this is Zach Ellis, Dave. He's one of the boys from second grade, had an absolute blinder in second grade. Very physical player. Look to see him coming up fast in defence. I think they've taken off Alistair Langford, who was wearing number 18.
Ashenford to Hodgson to Rahale. Rahale will nudge it over the back of Old Collegians, make them come from there. Benja is screaming down that right wing. He'll put the pressure on. Ball goes out though. Old Collegians ball, and the chase from Burnside was enough.
And there's that thumping boot of Harrison Rahale's. For a young man, I'm stoked for him, Dave. He stepped up to the plate in first grade, and it's valuable experience he's getting here.
Now, I can only apologise because Old Collegians have only given us the starting 15, so the substitutes that have come on, I'm struggling with their names, and I don't want to get them wrong. Like Alistair Walton, I'd never be forgiven. Smedley will send it back into the pocket, and one of our mystery players will nudge it into touch. You're saying it was passed back in?
I think so, Dave. I think so. Burnside feed to the line out, throw the line out.
Dangerous position.
Yeah, yep.
Now, you would probably put all the money in the world that Old Collegians will compete against this.
Yeah, yep.
One thing you will say about that in the try no try last week is at least it wasn't as embarrassing as the London Scottish one.
Yeah, well, there we go. They've sacked the line.
Again, they got the sack.
Goals. But here's what you got to watch: the Burnside maul. Chris Walton looks like he's got his hands on it.
Paseka was dangerously close to a side entry, but it is still kind of moving forward. I can't see who has the ball. Well, Old Coles have the ball. That's why I couldn't see it. Good turnover. Tim Dawes. Now they will go away down their left-hand side. Walton is there trying to clean it out. Looks like he's beaten the clean out as well. You can't put a price on experience, and Chris Walton has it in buckets.
Oh, mate, he's just a real leader, real general, very, very cerebral player, apart from his physicality, his line runs.
I think Walton might have to be cleaned up again. I can't really see how he just nicks it out the back.
Wasn't the maul, the ball security wasn't really there. Here comes Jono Van Dissel on for Callum Walton, the second grade captain, and you watch this boy go. He's an amazing player.
So another lineup, similar position. Old Coles will want to defend just as well as they did on the last one.
Interesting if they go for the maul or send it out wide to Tanaki.
Oh, and it's nicked by Campion. His Royal Highness getting high.
Yeah, he's done well.
Back into the pocket, off the side of the boot. Not brilliant. Rahale will pick it up. Has Tanaki to his left. That's all he has at the moment. There's a wall of red and blue in front of him. Yeah, Burnside couldn't. Again, just isolated, and the side entry leads to a turnover and a penalty. Smedley decides to go quick to Fleetwood Piper. He'll run through the first one. Support is there, and they can rebuild. Big line and strong line. Smedley again. We'll send it into midfield. Onto Don Bradman Patch. Paseka will run through. Slip it out the back. We'll get out to Bartlett. Bartlett will send it on to Aloe Emily, who'll just sit down the first one. Walton fares a little bit better, but the ball will continue to come Old Collegians' way. Smedley is there again. Slows it down again. Into midfield to Paseka, who runs over the first one. Runs through the second one. Finally turned over, though, but illegally. Bit slow to get up now, Paseka.
Yeah,
You've seen some contact over the last...
Yeah, he ran into Jacob Devlin. Jacob Devlin seems to be nursing his shoulder after that one, but old Chris Paseko seems to be still down, so...
Well, that's a lovely pass over the top. Fleetwood Piper against Tanaki. Fleetwood Piper just dragged down the offload. Unfortunately for all Collegians, ends up in Hodgson's hands. He beats a couple. Waits for his support to get there. Support gets there. Rahaley sat back in the pocket. He'll put it on the boot, send it towards our position. And our screen is saved by Rory Sarongan, a man of many talents.
Oh. You're too kind, Dave. You're too kind.
Lovely, just slip pass over the top. Thought Fleetwood Piper was going to go, but Tanaki just grabbed onto his shirt tails and managed to finish off the tackle.
He's class, this Fleetwood Piper. He did well. Sammy Tanaki did well to get hold of him, and Chris Hodgson to get back in support. Here we go. Line out straight in front of us, Dave.
Movement again. They'll go to the middle, but again overthrown from Aloe Emily. But again, Luke Clifton helps his front row brother out. If he could have got his arms free, that would have been interesting. Manages to shake off Tanaki. He's still going, the big fella. Doesn't want to give up. That's 5 meters away. Smedley. Now they go a bit quicker. Eames. Met by a couple of Burnside players.
Yeah, Aaron Totoko, just a huge hit.
Smedley out to Morrison. Morrison dealt with by a couple. Now it's slower. Fleetwood Piper. Little bit of a counter hook. Fleetwood Piper has to pick it up, so he'll pick and go. That's better for old Collegians. Another pickup. Aloe Emily will pick and go and try and go through the middle. There again. Aloe Emily will go again. Amalelny will reach out. Aloe Emily will score.
Oh, great.
Old Collegians coming back.
Yeah, great try there from old Collegians. Burnside's defence around the ruck, pillar to BCD weren't quite there, so Old Coles did well to notice that and utilise their forward pack. They've done quite well, still in the game.
Bring it closer, unfortunately for this young man, number 21. This is the young man, I don't know his name. But he's going to take over the kicking duties from Mokomoko, who is currently sat on the bench, headgear off. Looks like an injury.
Oh, that's unfortunate. This young man here with 21, Old Collegians, he played against us in second grade. I know he's a junior.
He's come through the juniors. He's been a senior for the last couple of years.
Yeah, he's got quite some pace, and we're about to find out whether the boy's got a boot on him.
Sent it on its way. I think it's just snuck in the post. So around the grounds, Onkaparinga 24, Southern Suburbs 13, Brighton 45, Woodville 14. So after a promising start for Woodville, they've been pegged back somewhat, and Onkaparinga is starting to push away from South, but it's a lot closer there.
Yeah.
Here we've gone to 26-17 on the Wojtek scoreboard. Coming up to 60 minutes gone.
Nice high midfield kick-off.
Eames will take the first one.
Yep, hit by Ollie Barker and Jacob Devlin.
Smedley sends it to Campion. Campion tried to get his hands free, didn't quite manage it, wasn't held, so keeps going. Smedley is there again. Smedley looks back into midfield. That one misses Burgess, but finds Aloe Emily.
Ben Meaden, number 20 for Burnside, has come on. Handy player, great offload.
Another nice little slip pass, a little bit behind Fleetwood Piper. He'll take on Walton. Walton squared, as both of them had a go. Smedley, short ball, met again by Double Blue. Missed out Campion. Paseka makes a couple, slips it off to Campion. Campion will just make another couple of yards onto that 10-meter line. Smedley was under a huge amount of pressure. They will make another one. Lost a boot in the process. Go to midfield to Burgess, to Bartlett. Bartlett will straighten, then hand it back into Burgess. Burgess with a little bit of time. Bartlett's outside him. The pass is good. Well done by Rahaley. got back and made that covering tackle, but the ball is still there for Old Collegians.
They're going to do what they did earlier. They're just going to pick and go. They've got their back line set out.
Hello, Emily. Runs into midfield, then straightens at Walton.
They set out to the right here. There's Paseka.
Paseka again dodges the first one. Marshall makes a tackle. Dawes is going to shake one. Dawes is going to go over.
Oh,
22-26 with the kick to come.
Yep. Great try there by Old Collegians.
The big fellas for Old Collegians are starting to knock, and the doors were opened.
Great call there. Great call, Dave. As you can see, they've lined out to the right, cut out the big second rower. Chris Paseka, once again, he'll be well over double figures.
Nice offload.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, they seem to be offloading at will here in the 60th minute. As our young man in 21.
The Phantom, we'll call him the Phantom.
The Phantom. Pretty much kicking from the same spot, a little bit easier this time. So,
well, if he kicks it, they go to 2 points of difference. Well, he's pushed it. I'll take that one. That one's my fault.
Your fault. Oh, nah, Dave, you can do no wrong. So here we go. Another kick off, 26-22 on the Voitech scoreboard. This will be interesting where they go. You think you make a contestable kick-off and let one of these faster forwards or Semi Tanaki hitting it on the fly, but
well, yet again on a Saturday afternoon, we are being treated to an absolute rip snorter of a game from the Cooper's Premier Grade. Seki does nothing else other than put his head down and go. He has 2 gears. Smedley out to Campion. Campion will find Tim Dawes on this left-hand side. Ladies and gentlemen, just give him the man of the match now. He's been outstanding in this second half.
He's been wonderful, hasn't he?
Arm is out for a penalty. Smedley into midfield. Stepped inside, steps away from Marshall. Looks for his support, gets his support in Burgess. Smedley looked to go quickly, will come back for the penalty. We are in week 2. I saw it today in the earlier games as well. There's a lot of players cramping up.
Yeah, still early days, isn't it? Probably, like you said in the previous call, that match fitness, there's no substitute for it. You can train the house down as soon as you get in that match. Oh,
he's gone the banana. And he's done very well with it, the Phantom.
Extremely well.
Could be the birth of a nickname for this young man.
The Phantom. I like it. So let's see what Burnside can respond with.
So do Old Collegians have a driving maul? They've gone reduced again. What's that, 6 in the line? So Paseka's hanging around in midfield. They are coming off the top again. Smedley into midfield. Then they will send it on to Burgess. Yep. Never going to get away with that one, gentlemen. If I can see it, so can Mr. Gunning.
Yeah, unfortunate there. Burnside will look to relieve the pressure with a kick from Hodgson, find the try line, the sideline.
Yeah, the line from Paseka took out 2 Burnside players.
Yeah, they'd be pretty disappointed with that, Dave, because they were on the hunt there, looking to apply a bit of pressure to the Burnside defensive line within their own 22. So, fortunately for Burnside, they've gained a bit of ground just here, just shy of halfway.
So Burnside 5-man line as well. They've reduced their line. David Allo-Emily has to go for a little bit of a run to go, and as he ran past us, we should have given a wave. So Chris Walton, 5-man line up for Burnside. To the back, to Marshall. That's a change at scrum half again. Tanaki into midfield. Takes on 3. Question a high from Smedley. Referee's happy with it. Options both ways. Oh, it's still Ashenford wearing the number 16. Into midfield to Totoka. Then they will look left. Tanaki tried to step through. Penalty advantage for a high tackle. Well, just a straight penalty for a high tackle.
A little bit isolated there, Burnside, but seemed to get helped out by a penalty. And this won't do Old Coles any favours.
From where they were not 5 minutes ago to just being outside their 22, there we see Tim Dawes, who's been a rock since Mokomoko went off.
He's been amazing.
Put his hand up for a huge amount of work. I think there's another change. I think that's Jacob Devlin going off.
And Kieron Sambrook. He's come in at flanker, but plays hooker for us in second grade.
Okay, so I might get on my soapbox a little bit here, Rory. Now he's given the scrum for accidental offside. I'm getting on my soapbox because at least 3 old Collegians appealed for that.
Yeah, well.
And it's not soccer.
No, we definitely don't want to go down that path. But,
the referee has seen it. He's going to give it. The fact that 3 old Collegians asked him for it doesn't change it.
No, it doesn't.
Anyway, I'll get back down off my soapbox now.
That's all right, Dave. You deserve to jump up there every now and then. This is going to be interesting whether they throw it out wide or look for an exit play.
Well, there's still, what,
there's only
14 minutes plus stoppage.
Yeah.
It's only 4 points of difference. We saw a 6-point game last week.
They're lining out our Phantom player number 21 out there wide too. So I know the boy can motor. I've seen him run. He's got wheels. He's
got a good step on him as well if he gets there. So Smedley will put it in.
Oh,
Old Collegians going backwards. Paseka will have to pick it up and turn it up, but Ashenford's got it. He'll send it into midfield. Fraser Green will look for a little bit of space. Just tries to hold his feet until his support gets there. Support does come there. Ashenford out again. Hodgson will get hands on. Hodgson will take on Bartlett. Bartlett manages to bring him to ground. Then they will look again. Ashenford into midfield, into Barker. Barker takes on a couple. Slow to move again from Old Coles. Into Walton. Walton with Marshall outside him. Doesn't use him. Ashenford again to Totoka. To Walton, who got all sorts of issues with that. Little bit slow to get up, and I'm not surprised. Turned his kidneys into soup.
Yep, they'll all be mushy now. It looks like Chris Walton's having a bit of trouble there.
I'm not surprised. He got the ball in an awkward position and he got, I think someone wanted steak and kidney for lunch. They go for a lot of money on the black market. Maybe you just tried to steal it.
I'll talk to you about that afterwards. I need a bit of cash. Here we go. So who's feeding the...
That's Smedley.
That's Smedley.
Rob Smedley, who's been around Old Collegians since, I think, 2004. Moved from Brighton. A couple of premierships under his belt. It's gone around. We'll probably reset it.
Burnside's looking to dominate that set piece.
They just seem to be able to find an extra gear with that scrum.
Well, a lot of these players have been playing together for a while now, so they can just hop back into their set piece structures. So they're used to each other. They know their weaknesses and their strengths, and seem to be able to come out on top.
So we will reset. Looks like there's an Old Coles player just with a little bit of a pit stop on his boots. Well, this one setting up for a grandstand finish again.
Yes, indeed.
So how does it go? Do you have the bragging rights? There's one team allowed to drive on Green Hill Road and the other one doesn't. Yes. So how it goes? You've got to find the back way to work.
The Battle of Green Hill Road. It's well renowned through the rugby circles here in South Australia. Oh, another big shove.
Paseka's going to have to fix it. between the legs from Smedley, and the Phantom will put it on the boot, send it in our direction. Got our table. We'll send him an invoice.
There's a huge kick there. He's done well.
He has done very well. He's right-footed, but he manages to get that bend on it. He does very well with it.
Bit like your golf swing.
Oh, my golf swing always goes left to right. Unless I'm aiming left, and then it goes dead straight.
Both packs seem a little tired. Burnside are getting together to have a bit of a meeting here.
Otherwise known as a rest.
Yeah.
So, Chris Walton goes to 2. Ball comes down.
Yep.
Ashenford, Hodgson to Tanaki. Tanaki will straighten, run through a couple. Ashenford is there. Again, he has to go digging. Breakdown today has been messy. Walton shows, then straightens. Ashenford again, out to Hodgson. Hodgson again shows and goes. It's becoming a trend. Walton, that time he does send it on. And again, good hands to Toka with great hands. Out to Tanaki. Tanaki versus Fleetwood Piper. Gives him the don't argue. Fleetwood Piper argues back. Ashenford in danger and knocking it on. Managed to get the little kick on, and Old Coles gives it to Dawes. He will clean it up. The Phantom will step into halfback, send it into midfield. Looks for the pop-up, and it gets it again. The Phantom will send it out to Smedley. Smedley will put it on the left boot, kick it right down the throat of Benja. Benja with a loopy pass into midfield to Rahali. Rahali looked left and didn't see anything he liked, so decides to go back to Benja. Benja sends it out, bounce past the Barnes-Wallace, out to Hodgson. Hodgson with lovely hands. There's the intercept. Inside. I think Rob Smedley of 2014 might have fancied his chances. Rob Smedley of 2018 did the sensible thing and looked for support.
Well, you know, age catches up to everyone, but he's still got that football brain. As you can see, he's jumped from 5'8" to fly half to halfback, so definitely a player with a good rugby mind.
He tried to tell me he was old this morning by telling me he was in his early 30s.
Yeah,
definition of old is a little bit different to mine.
To stand on, as he does.
No, he'll be in this game for another 20 years.
Looks like the crowd's here to stay. We've got a good turnout here today. The verandas are packed and
lovely evening. That sun has come right down though. Half of the field in shadow. A little bit messy at the line out as well, but we'll get there eventually. Well, that's a short one. Ashenford out to Marshall. Marshall will send it on to Ollie Barker. He'll come inside. Ashenford will get hands on again to Hodgson. Hodgson into midfield. To Toka with a good clean out. Hodgson. Again will send it on. Green sends it to Rahali. Rahali hit hard from behind by Bartlett. Bartlett with the turnover. Old Collegians again. What? He's thrown that on the boot. Luckily for him, he had the advantage for the knock on. This young man is another one I don't have a name for. He's been a bit shaky off the boot the last couple of times that we've seen him do it.
Yeah, he played fly half against us in second grade.
So that's Zach Ellis, who's just on his haunches.
Yeah, the hitman's had a big day.
Not seeing Will Shields named on your bench either.
Oh,
there he is, Will Shields.
Yeah, Shields.
So he's available.
He played outside centre for us today. Obviously,
devastating last time we were here, Will Shields.
He's an absolute ball terror when he gets that ball. He really runs some good lines. Very hard to stop once he gets a bit of pace going.
So knock on, Old Collegian scrum. So we enter the final, getting close to the final 5 minutes, plus time added on.
I think Old Cole's going to have to try something a bit sharp here, whether it's a kick pass from the 5'8" or a cut-out ball, but they haven't got long left.
Bailey Reserve got interesting again. Onkaparinga 30, Southern Suburbs 27.
Ooh.
So don't be counting any chickens if you're on South Road.
That's an amazing play score for South.
And Brighton have pushed away 52-19 up at Woodville. We'll try and keep an eye on that Southern Suburbs score. They'll go out the back to Bartlett. Bartlett will send it out to the Phantom. The Phantom looks to draw and give, doesn't need him, puts the foot down, one to beat. Rahale does well, comes in, look for the offload, the Phantom. Now he's very, very isolated, did just enough. Smedley sends it out, lot of lazy runners. Then it will come out to Eames. Eames will take on the Burnside player. Campion in at halfback, always fancied himself there. Smedley will loop it over the top to Fleetwood Piper. Fleetwood Piper will take one. Just off the feet, unfortunately, but we're back for a penalty for offside. Couple of Burnside people. Little bit ginger coming up. Ollie Barker is one of them.
Yeah,
looks a bit crampy.
I think he had a bit of a friendly fire from Louis Fagan. Louis Fagan's shown a bit of concern to him. Ollie Barker's very frustrated. He gets up though. And here we go.
So the Phantom will push them down.
Looks like they're setting up Chris Paseka for a midfield run again, and then they'll look to spread it either left or right.
Troy Doughty with another meat pie today.
Oh, well done, Troy.
He's going to start pushing himself for even early in the year. You'd start having a conversation around Don Smith. Stolen by Walton.
Oh, great line out there.
I think both of them are going to argue that they had hands on the ball. And it's gone scrum Burnside. Now, all Collegians have struggled all day in the scrum. If there was ever a time that you summoned up the gods of scrummaging, this is it.
Yep, pray to the rugby gods for the old Collegian forward pack that they can hold their own, if not get a tight head. But
they need one. They certainly need a tight head. That's what they'll be looking for now. We're still in not a bad position.
Yeah, the mindset for the Burnside players here, what do? Will they exit play, or will they try and keep the ball, retain possession?
It's caught between the devil and the deep blue sea, isn't it? It's just going to come back at you if you use an exit play.
That's right.
You try and keep hold of it. It's a short field if you turn it over.
Yeah, big Blair Marshall takes off the back of the scrum.
We are looking like we're going back to Hodgson. Hodgson will put it on the boot. Send it down the line. Misses touch. It is coming back. And it will come back with bells on into the Phantom. The Phantom will fire it out. The old Barnes Wallace towards Bartlett. Bartlett against Tanaki. Tanaki steps inside him. Offload out to Fleetwood Piper. And there's a little knock on there. Advantage to Burnside. And it will be a scrum.
Semi Tanaki did quite well there in defence. Bartlett looked like to set him up for the inside step, but Sammy kept his feet and managed to pull him down. Both teams have really put up a dogged performance today, Dave. I have to say that. Both packs are looking exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, we are round two. That match fitness isn't going to be quite there yet.
Joe Ashenford feeds into the scrum. Burnside scrum looks quite solid. Here they go.
Well, Smedley's dropped off the back of it. Marshall will pick up. Morrison will deal with him. That's the 22. So it can't go straight out. Ship it onto Rahale. Rahale has to step back inside. Fleetwood Piper with a good jackal. Didn't beat the clear out though. Walton takes control, settles it down. Tanaki with a pickup. One to beat. Can he take on the Phantom? Tanaki versus the Phantom. The Phantom gets brushed aside. Tanaki as we enter red time. We'll go under the post for Burnside. Stick a fork in that one for them. They are done.
Too big, too strong. Tanaki under the post. Well done.
Huge amount of work. Nigel Lamsan-esque from that ruck, just straight through the middle of it. Decided to take on the Phantom on the outside.
Set him up for the big right, don't argue.
He almost had him. He knew he had it from 22 metres out.
Yeah, that was a huge
He'll go
thing.
under the post, make the kick a little bit easier.
We'll bring Adelaide Crane higher in to pull him out of the bows of Kensington Garden pitch there. Well done there.
I think you'll find that Rahali will take his time with this conversion.
We do have a running clock, so we're not sure how long they've had for injury
We'll go
time.
into red time and then we'll just be on the referee's watch, the time that we like it. So at the moment the change is 9 points. You would think that there may not be enough time for Old Collegians, but if there is time, expect to see them go quickly.
Well, you'd have to look at using your pace out wide.
Rahali will knock it over. And we do have time at least for the restart. Heartbreaking for Old Collegians. 11 points the difference. 11 points the difference. We are in red time. Don't know how long there's left. Was a couple of stoppages.
You'd have to at least have another 3 minutes, you'd think. But we'll see what happens. They're very excited to get the ball back.
They must get it back, score, and then go again.
Aaron Tatoka's had a brilliant game this afternoon.
Seen the Burnside front row go 80 minutes, which is unusual in modern rugby. But a mammoth effort.
Yeah, indeed, it is unusual.
Ashenford just sniping away. Again, slow and scrappy. I think Ashenford's happy with that. Tatoka. He'll take on a couple. Taylor does well, gets hands on. Doesn't beat the clean out though. Ashenford into Walton. Walton shows, runs at Campion. Ashenford again. I don't think you're going to see much more than this until the referee says let's play. Just got to make sure that ball keeps coming back. Oh, Parker almost looked like he was thinking about kicking it. And there we have it, 11 points the difference at the end of this one. Burnside have the bragging rights at Green Hill Road. But geez, they made hard work of it at times, Rory.
Yeah, indeed. It was a lot closer than people were thinking, especially after last week's scoreboards. So on the Voitex scoreboard, Burnside 33, Old Collegians 22. Great game here at Kensington Gardens. Great call, Dave. Well done. And yeah, Spacequake, love your work.
As per usual, I have been Dave Webber, joined by Rory Sarongan. If you love Australian sport, if you love South Australian sport, we will be back with you next week. Don't forget as well the State of the Union on Tuesday and Friday. We'll work out a time for that to happen. Also, just tune into the Spacequake Sports page. They still have women's footy coming up tomorrow, and there will be basketball in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, your place for South Australian sport is Spacequake Sports. But as per usual, from Rugby Union in South Australia, as the sun sets on Parkinson Oval, and we put another one to bed, we get ready for round 3, which will be Southern Suburbs taking on Burnside. Ladies and gentlemen, we can't wait to speak to you again. From me and Rory, have a beautiful evening. Less than a minute gone and they are inches away. Doughty will stumble, then he will hand it on. Look at that, in a minute, we said Okaparinga would come out quickly. They have, and that is the first try of the game. Walton will show and stay, make half a yard afterwards. Now look at Pingo, and Tanaki will go over. Tanaki will score. Burnside in red time. And again to Adcock. Adcock will find Finney. Finney will put the foot down. Finney, I think he's got over.
Gibson's made the gap. Here we go. Look at that. Yeah, good movement. Great move. Just good running line. Paddy. Oh, here we go. Big gap.
Big gap. Oh,
Well done.
well done.
Burnside, interesting.
He will turn it around. Now he's going to put the toe down. He's going to take those shields. He'll go over in the left-hand corner. Right, really starting to push away now.